We ready? Let's go. Look, bro, so there's a couple things that are important for you to understand if you're gonna be any good at selling cybersecurity. But the problem is 99% of the people are never taught this stuff. And what happens is they quit, they get really frustrated, or they end up losing their freaking shirt. When I started selling cybersecurity around 10 years ago, I made the same exact mistakes, but I don't want you to have to go through that. Today, I'm a VP of sales at a cybersecurity company worth over $20 billion. I have 160 people on my team currently, and the first two things I teach everybody I hire are: one, understand what's at stake, and two, WIIFT. So let's get into it.
Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. I got diamonds doing to these slides in both ears. Dice rolling on the Las Vegas trip tonight. Slip that on and we might miss the fight. I'm a lover boy, she love the toys. Keep it coming, you a rider. This that run myself a day.
What's at stake? Life or death. Cybersecurity is life or death. Hear me out before you start freaking throwing rocks and disliking my video. Think about a doctor. Doctors go to freaking school for so many years to the point where they finish school after so many years of studying and doing all-nighters, only to have to go work at a hospital like a freaking intern for a couple more years, right? They're not even proper doctors. They gotta sit in there with other doctors while they actually do the real work. And they sit there and they learn. They're in school, they're constantly learning. Why is that, you think? It's because life and death are at stake. They're taking care of other humans, right? They have to take an oath saying, I swear to be a good doctor and not be evil. Right? That's what's at stake in cybersecurity. Fine, maybe lives aren't literally on the line, but here's what's at stake. Local communities, small businesses, people's livelihood is at stake when it comes to cybersecurity. Local schools, kids' information can be stolen, and it is regularly, unfortunately, for people who aren't protected from cybersecurity attacks. So the first thing you gotta understand is what's at stake. When you care about the people you're serving, it makes all the difference. It makes asking difficult questions a lot easier because the way you care comes through in your communication. And more importantly, it comes through in your actions. You're not just gonna sell somebody stuff for the sake of selling them if you care about them. So that all makes it easier, but if all you do is care more about your customers, you could still end up very broke trying to sell cybersecurity if all you do is have passion and care for the people you're selling to. That simply means what's in it for them. Every conversation you have has to be geared around that, because the fact is this: doesn't matter if you went to MIT, Stanford, Harvard, it doesn't freaking matter. No one cares how smart you are in this business. They only care about the outcomes you can deliver for them. They only care about what's in it for them. If you take a minute to stop and think, you're not that much different. When you're talking to another business, when you're talking to another person, what you're listening for is, man, what's in it for me? What do I get from this conversation? When you're choosing your friends, when you're choosing a partner, what's in it for me? The people you're selling to are no different. So it's so important that you make sure that 80% of your conversations are geared around one thing: their desired outcome. What do they want from the conversation? They want to make sure that they're not getting hacked, number one, and God forbid, if the worst happens, they do get hacked, that they're not going to be down. Their systems can be back online in no time. They'll never be in a position where they have to pay for ransomware. And by the way, this can be our little secret, this works for every line of business. It's not only cybersecurity. When you become obsessed with your customers' outcomes, when you become obsessed with their desires, people will look forward to doing business with you because they can see that you actually give a crap and you understand and you can solve their needs. So what's in it for them? What's funny is a lot of people think that they've got to be extremely technical or have a very technical and be very smart and understand all the minute details to be effective at selling cybersecurity. I got some good news. That's not true, but it could be bad news if you find yourself extremely technical and you're very intelligent. That can actually hold you back. Because a lot of times these technical people, sometimes we'll hire one, and what happens is they just want to explain how everything works and talk about all the little tool and features and how the behind the scenes, all that stuff works. But in reality, the buyers, the decision makers, generally speaking, aren't that technical. Think about a doctor. When you go to a doctor and they start speaking in their biological anatomy, very fancy doctor language, your eyes start to glaze over and you're like, dude, what the heck did you say? Can you please translate that to normal English? That's essentially your customers. They don't want to hear about how technical you are most times unless you're talking to the technical decision maker. They want to know what can you do for them. So don't get lost in the minutia. Don't be intimidated if you don't have a background in cybersecurity. The basics can be learned. Selling cybersecurity and becoming effective at this is all about your ability to understand what's at stake, to actually care about what's in it for them, and to be able to communicate clearly. If you're looking for a system or a framework that you can use to sell cybersecurity, I've made multiple videos about this. is. Why don't you start here and watch this video where I break down exactly how you can sell cybersecurity using a predictable 4-step system that's worked for me to make millions and millions of dollars. Thanks for watching. Check you later. Bye, guys.